Now let's take a look at some of the big national security issues right now, and he's well qualified to comment. Liberal Party Defence and National Security Policy Chair Lincoln Parker joins me now, as he does each week. Lincoln, great to see you.
G'day, Erin.
A zoo in China is pleading with the public for donations to feed its animals. What could this possibly have to do with our national security?
Well, it's actually part of a larger problem. So we all understand the massive amounts of foreign debt that the Chinese federal level has, but what we don't know is the massive hidden debt that the local councils and local governments have. It's called local government finance vehicles, and they are in debt to the tune of $11 trillion. And so 50% of all the income generated by Chinese local governments China-wide is going just to pay their interest on their debt. So not even pay down their debt, just to pay the interest. And so what
we thought Victoria was bad.
Yeah, indeed.
It still is, but yeah.
And so what it means is that they've got no money. And so, you know, this story was about them not being able to pay their staff at the zoo for the last 6 months and nor provide any food for the animals. But in a broader context, geopolitical context, it means that China's economy is in real strife. They're spending all sorts of money on their external military and their aggressive build-up in their military and on their internal security, but they're not able to feed their people or their animals.
It is absolutely terrifying, and I harp on about it every single week, yet I don't see really anyone else, apart from commentators and those in the media, talking about it.
No.
Where are the politicians? Where's our government talking about it?
It's frightening.
Australia don't understand what's going on, and how can they be pushing for solutions? It is absolutely frightening. What about Greg Sheridan writing in The Australian this week? What did he write? Something about AUKUS and Miles ruining our Defence Force? What was he on about?
So what he's saying is that essentially the Labor government came to power on a very strong defence and national security ticket. So they were saying all of the right things. Even I was impressed by what they were saying.
Well, essentially emulating what the government prior had done.
Well, that's exactly right. So it was the Morrison government that initiated AUKUS, which is really crucial to Australian national security. And Richard Marles and Albanese came and said, oh, we're going to follow our predecessors, we're going to continue spending on defence. Well, they've done the exact opposite. So not only is Albanese essentially worse than, say, Kevin Rudd, but he's sort of hearkening back to the bad old years of Gough Whitlam. We're now underspending to the tune of $1.5 billion in defence, which will, because of all of these reviews. So the government loves to conduct what they call reviews, which is just code for stop all spending on all projects, which means that underspend then gets returned back to the Treasurer. And
when they're questioned on it, they say, oh, it's under review.
Yes.
Wait till we finish the review.
Yes, that's right.
Doesn't do anything for us right now or in the future.
And so what Greg Sheridan was saying is, well, show me the money. What have you done on AUKUS in the last 2 years? And there is absolutely no movement on AUKUS. There's no movement on upgrading our infrastructure and our bases. And there's this crucial underspends on defence and national security at a time when it looks like, you know, China is going to invade Taiwan and possibly embroil the South Pacific and Southeast Asia into conflict.
You went to the Australian Defence Industry Awards. I've hosted it actually a couple of times. It's a great night, but talking about a lack of movement, there was a lack of movement from some notables that weren't there.
Well, that's right. So I guess this kind of follows on from what we were just discussing, right? So last night I was in Canberra for the 2023 Defence Industry Awards. There was between 800 and 900 people there, academics, Indigenous corporations there that deal in defence. It's a rather large industry, and even the Ukrainian ambassador was there and gave a speech. But considering these are the national awards for defence industry, we had no Minister Marles, who's the Minister for Defence and Deputy Prime Minister. We had no Minister for the Defence Industry, Pat Conroy. We had no Minister for Veterans Affairs. In fact, we had no government minister or representation whatsoever. So
well, there was definitely government representation when I was there. In fact, 2 or 3 at the one table with the Chief of Defence Force.
Yeah.
That's not a good look, is it?
It's not a good look.
I'd love to know what they were doing, and I will pursue that, I think, to see what would have been more worthy of their time.
Yes.
Lincoln Parker, thank you for making us worthy of your time each week. We appreciate it. Well done.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.